A busy show today. I hope you are very well. Is there any truth in conspiracy theories about Meghan Markle's 2 pregnancies? A major UK journalist has opened that can of worms. I've got the inside story. A fabulous moment of humour from Prince William after his wife Catherine receives a compliment, and how the Princess of Wales has once again honoured the memory of her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. But first, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, Duchess Difficult as she's known in royal circles, stands accused of lying about the success of her lifestyle business as ever, with major questions now being asked about whether she's covering up the true failure of the project and cooking the books amid growing concerns that the whole project is an enormous scam. Now, as ever, officially launched on April the 2nd, 2025, offering a curated selection of artisanal products. So, for example, we had raspberry jam priced at $14, wildflower honey with honeycomb at $28, which Meghan would love to pretend that she managed to capture. You know, she's such a beekeeper because Princess Catherine was into beekeeping. Anything Catherine can do, Meghan can do better. Suddenly she buys a beekeeper outfit from Amazon or eBay, and suddenly she's an expert on that. I doubt she's ever looked at a jar of honey, let alone produced one. By the way, if she was a beekeeper, I'd be more concerned about the bees than about Meghan. I think the bees are afraid of Duchess Difficult. Even the bees are reduced to tears in the presence of this rather dangerous character. So, you got wildflower honey. $28, by the way. I mean, is she not aware of the cost of living crisis that's going on around the world? Flour sprinkles for $15. Now, this is a ridiculous development, which was heavily advertised in her TV show With Love, Meghan, in which she basically sprinkles flowers onto food for no good reason whatsoever. I think it's unhygienic, and I think that you just don't know what's in those flower sprinkles. Are we supposed to eat flowers? If you were in a garden, would you reach for a rose bush and chow it down? Would you gobble up tulips or petunias or chrysanthemums? I don't think you would. But anyway, Meghan thinks that she's a genius. She's reinvented the wheel and is encouraging people, rather dangerously in my view, to sprinkle vegetation, inedible vegetation, onto food. We've also got her shortbread and crepe mixes, each at $14. What a load of crepe that is. Herbal tea blends priced at $12 each. Now, the entire stock, we were told, sold out within 30 minutes of the launch. That's right. All this jam, all the honey, all the hallucinogenic flower petals, which are probably going to give you gastroenteritis or something, all of that was sold out in 30 minutes because she is a miraculous entrepreneur, the greatest retailer since Jeff Bezos. Well, I'm afraid the truth looks to be rather different. So we were told it was sold out. She expressed her gratitude on Instagram, saying, "Our shelves may be empty, but my heart is full." Pass me the sick bucket. Our shelves may be empty, but my heart is full. Where is your heart, Meghan? I don't think it exists. I think it's like the weapons of mass destruction. "We sold out in less than 1 hour, and I can't thank you enough for celebrating, purchasing, sharing, and believing. Hashtag, it's just a start." Now, this looks to be a complete pack of lies, because as of May the 23rd, 2025, nearly 2 months post-launch, none of the sold-out products, and I think we should use the term sold out in inverted commas, none of the sold-out products have been restocked on the official website. Everything is either coming soon or sold out. Customers and fans have expressed frustration over the prolonged unavailability of products. I'd love to know who these customers are, and I'd love to know who the fans are. Have you ever met a Meghan Markle fan? I've never met one. The lesser spotted Meghan Markle fan. Have you ever met a Prince Harry fan? The world's least happy millionaire? I don't think so. An industry insider has commented on this mystery around the inventory of 2 months now. No products on the website. What is going on? It's either incompetence or corruption. I suspect a touch of both. So, according to the excellent Mail Online, customers and fans have expressed frustration over the prolonged unavailability of the products. An industry insider told the paper, showing that there is a sellout is very common for new brands to fake demand. There you go. You got it in black and white, folks. Fake demand. And then what about this for a killer line? There is no warehouse full of jam. You see, this is the issue with Meghan Markle. She's pathologically dishonest. We saw that in the Oprah interview when she made up terrible lies about the royal family, including unsubstantiated rumours of racism, which is the worst thing you can accuse somebody of, especially if it ain't true. And that two-faced so-and-so, Prince Harry, in a later interview said, oh, no, we didn't accuse anybody of racism. No. That was all blown out of proportion. So sorry, Harry. Stop right there. Too little, too late. It's very clear what was being said about an unnamed member of the royal family at the time. And that, if nothing else, was grounds for your cancellation from the royal family forever. Because, as I say, racism is, by the way, I'm never going to do well in a spelling bee, am I? Struggle with any words. That is the worst thing you can accuse somebody of. And that is what Harry accused his family of. Extraordinary stuff. So, but Meghan is pathologically dishonest. Let me give you one example. At the Oprah interview that happened after Megxit, she said that she'd got married the day before her wedding. It's not true. It isn't true. Contradicted by none other than the Archbishop of Canterbury, who married the couple on their wedding day. Make it make sense. And the problem you've got with Meghan Markle, by the way, it's a problem with any public figure. If they lie about one thing, then all credibility is lost. And you're just thinking, well, what else are they lying about? Because one lie equates to 1,000. Because in life, and I think you'll have experienced this, you're either a liar or you're not. And there's, yes, you got your white lies. When Mrs. Dolan says, does this dress suit me? And I say, you look spectacular. You look spectacular, Mrs. Dolan. In that dress is very flattering. I've never seen anyone quite so beautiful in a dress before. Because, now, of course, by the way, Mrs. Dolan doesn't have to. Looks good in everything. She could wear a bin liner and look fabulous. But, of course, you got your white lies when you're polite to people. But not lying about the date of your wedding and not lying about the nature of your business model, which has investors and customers and employees, which is why this is shaping up to be a corruption scandal and why it really could affect a lot of livelihoods and a lot of invested capital. Now, Mark Bukowski is a top PR expert, good friend of mine. He's been on my old TV show, and he labeled the brand's post-launch management as chaos, questioning the lack of transparency regarding restocking. That's exactly what is lack of transparency? Omitting information is a form of lying, folks. Because if you have an article in a newspaper or on a TV show about the news, about current affairs, just withholding certain bits of information is editorializing. It is a form of dishonesty. Bukowski said, as soon as nothing's happened, people ask questions, but therefore her PR has always been chaos. He further speculated maybe the fact it's not restocking gives them the opportunity to refresh the story, but there's just no logic. And now, of course, questions are going to be asked. Do they have the answers? Now, let's be honest, Meghan, she's the worst entrepreneur in history. She makes corrupt Wall Street banker Bernard Madoff look like a safe pair of hands financially. He looks like a rock of sense. Give your money to Bernie Madoff all day long, but don't give a cent to Meghan Markle, to Duchess Difficult, to my husband. Don't do it. I mean, seriously, folks, let me know in the comments. Would you invest in Meghan Markle? Would you give her capital? If she did some kind of float on the stock market and was selling shares, would you buy shares in Meghan Markle Inc? Let me know in the comments. They've had so many problems. Originally, the brand was called American Riviera Orchard. Then it underwent a rebranding because of trademark problems and the fact that the name American Riviera Orchard was such a bad name, so clunky. And American Riviera Orchard sounds like a skin condition, doesn't it? American Riviera. I've got American Riviera Orchard again. I'm so itchy. I went to Tenerife and I was with some people of questionable character. I was intimate with them and I've been scratching ever since. Should have taken protection. Should have taken protection in the Canary Islands. And now I've got the American Riviera Orchard. And even antibiotics won't shift it. I'm riven with the American Riviera Orchard. I just can't shake it off. I've been on antivirals and everything. My skin is torn to shreds. I'm so itchy from the American Riviera Orchard. When I was intimate with the wrong people after one or too many cerveza in Tenerife. Right. So there's a terrible branding. The woman knows nothing about branding. Then, and by the way, there are trademark issues around that. She then calls it As Ever, which also faced trademark problems, rejected by the US Patent and Trademark Office because of similarities to other brands. The logo drew criticism from officials in Porreres, Mallorca, which is probably near Tenerife. No, it's not. Tenerife's in the Canary Islands, which is near Africa. Why, by the way, are the Canary Islands Spanish? Make it make sense. Nowhere near Spain. Lovely place, though. It's a good climate, the Canary Islands. It's dry heat. It's not humid at all. Never too hot, never too cold. A lot like California. A lot like Montecito. So she stole the logo. Well, she didn't steal the logo, but the mayor of Porreras in Mallorca in España, buenas noches, said, dos cervezas, por favor, said that it was their logo that had been taken. And of course, the name As Ever is the name of a fashion brand in New York City. But did that stop Meghan? Did it heck? So in this journey of her entrepreneurship, Meghan described building As Ever. She's built nothing. This is just a house of sand. A hill of sand? A house of cards? Choose your metaphors. But the bottom line is, it's a non-existent thing. They sold out because they had 11 jars of dusty jam that no one wanted. And rather vomit-inducing flower petals, which probably bring you out. And that would flare up the American Riviera Orchard, wouldn't it? The flower sprinkles would make it worse. We're not supposed to eat flowers, folks. Let me just be clear about that. So anyhow, so in the podcast interview, she said, described building As Ever, her company, as a constant state of recalibration. How's that going? They've sold nothing in 2 months and there's no product. She highlighted the ongoing adjustments and problem solving inherent in launching a new brand. Well, here's a problem that you might want to solve, Meghan. You've got no products because your business is a sham. The whole thing's fake, just like the founder. She emphasized the importance of hands-on involvement, stating, it can get messy and the best founders are not afraid to get their hands dirty. Well, this whole story stinks. It stinks to high heaven. I find it very, very strange indeed. And I find it amazing that Netflix will put up with this because they've invested in this non-business. And it's had so much publicity from the TV series with Love Meghan, in which she was flogging her flower sprinkles and everything. You could actually see people get gradually nauseous from eating the flower sprinkles as the episodes went on. They just turned green. It was either that or Meghan's company. So it's had a TV platform. It's had investment from Netflix, who obviously now the share price. I mean, do not buy shares in Netflix because they're investing in Meghan and your money is going to go down the drain. The brand's products and aesthetic are featured in the show, aiming to create a cohesive lifestyle narrative. Well, there's nothing cohesive about this. There's no products. 2 months, empty warehouses. Where are the staff? Where are the marketing managers? Where are the adverts? Where's the product? I've been on the website. There's nothing there. It's a sham. It's not a business. It's a Ponzi scheme. And anyone that's forked out money, hard-earned cash for that ridiculous jam and the flower sprinkles and the crepe mix, which is a load of crepe, all I'll say is an old saying of my dear father, fools and their money are easily parted. But this whole story represents to me Meghan's dishonesty, her incompetence, and her flakiness. And I think that, we're being had. I think when she pretends it's been a success because it sold out after half an hour and then there's no product for 2 months, it's a con. It's a massive con trick. And you know what? Like a serial con man or con woman, she's going to go from one con to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. She's done it in a private life with husbands and ex-husbands and siblings and her own father. She does it in business. She does it on TV shows. Nothing is real, which makes this woman rather dangerous. But listen, talking about a lack of honesty, what about this for a bombshell story? Meghan has been on Instagram because she lives on that thing, as we know. And she posted something called a mood board to mark her 7th wedding anniversary with Harry. We covered it on the show a few shows ago. It was a special show, and it was called, what was the name of the show? It was Harry and Meghan's Unhappy Anniversary. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Plenty of truth bombs in there about their marriage. Anyway, so what they've done is she's posted a mood board, which is essentially lots of snapshots of her and Harry and the offspring. So you got pictures of the family holding hands, kissing, cuddling, Archie and Lilibet. But what's happened is that this mood board, which put me in a very bad mood, and it flared up my American Riviera orchard because I started looking at that mood board and all those grinning pictures of Meghan. And I got very itchy again. It's almost like malaria. I was a little delirious. Anyhow, so you got these pictures. And by the way, Meghan left the UK because she wanted privacy. And all she does now is publish photographs of her family on the internet. Make it make sense. So you got these pictures. Anyway, I'll tell you what has exploded and opened a can of worms. Included in this mood board of photographs was a bare-bellied pregnancy photo of Meghan with Archie and an ultrasound image of her unborn son. Now, first of all, why would you publish a photograph of an embryo? I mean, if that's not attention-seeking, I don't know what is. This poor kid hasn't even been born yet, and he's already a celebrity. It's so private. It's so intimate. What are you doing sharing that with the world? Attention-seeking. What's Meghan interested in? Money, fame, power, influence. Because she's an empty shell. She's a hollowed-out husk. And she needs all the approval and all of the validation that she can get her hands on. And by the way, like a billionaire that's never got enough money, Meghan will never have enough validation. She's too insecure. She hates herself too much, I'm afraid to say. She could be a lovely person. Do you know what wouldn't hurt? Can I tell you what wouldn't hurt? A face-to-face summit between myself, host of the Mark Dolan Show, dropper of royal truth bombs, with a growing army of extraordinary viewers and listeners. Because you are this show. I am you, you are me, and we're doing this together. And I'll tell you what would fix it is a face-to-face summit between myself and Meghan Markle. Lovely Meghan H, my husband. My husband. Be a great meeting. I'm Meghan. Who do you love most in the world? Who are you closest to? Oh, it's got to be H, my husband. Oh, that's lovely. What are the other letters of his name? Is he not called Harry? Would it be so rude to give him his full actual name, given the fact that he's a grown man, he's your husband, and he's also the son of the King of the United Kingdom? Is it too much to ask to just say the guy's full name out loud? Does he have to have a belittling nickname that puts him in his place? H, my husband. I think a face-to-face summit between myself and Meghan Markle, and we'll bring the cameras in, the Mark Dolan Show, it'll be a Mark Dolan special, by the way. It would be the television event of the century, because I don't take any prisoners, as you know. I'm not owned by anyone. There's no broadcaster. There's no line manager. There's no senior producer. There's no media executive in a $2,000 Armani suit, right, high on the Colombian marching powder, telling me what to do. There's no management. It's the Mark Dolan Show. There is actually, there is management. You're the management. You are the management of the Mark Dolan Show. You are the board of directors. And I read every comment after every video, and it informs my worldview. I'm fascinated by your opinions. You're often very kind. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. It's an amazing thing. But that interview would be no holds barred. I wouldn't take any prisoners. I'd be very fair to Meghan, but the other thing I think I could do is I could talk some sense into her and straighten her out a bit. Just say, Meghan, the game's up. Your house of cards is tumbling. The lies are coming back to haunt you. And it's time, Megs, Duchess Difficult, my husband, it's time to get real. It's time for you to get real, to apologize for everything you've done, to admit the lies, admit the manipulation, admit the controlling behavior, and to commit to change. Can you do that for me, Meghan? At which point, by the way, she's left the building because there's no way, she's incapable of self-reflection. But I, of all the world's journalists, would be the one that could get closest to Meghan to get her to self-reflect. Because what it is that I've got, I'm not the cleverest guy in the world. I'm not the most handsome. I'm not the richest by any means. There's nothing that stands out in particular, but one thing I do have is I've got the seeing eye, and I can smell BS a mile off. And that's why Meghan would be so afraid, but it would be the interview of a century. Anyway, I'd like to straighten her out, sort her out. And as you know, I would like to go for beers with Harry as well. And what I do with Harry is organize the escape plan, basically. We'd have a couple of, we'd go for a great American beer. We might go for Budweiser, which is the king of beers. We could go Australian, by the way, some great Australian lagers as well. I grew up with Castle. I don't say I grew up with Castlemaine at the age of 7, but my father ran a pub and sold Castlemaine 4X. What a beer. The Australians have a great brewing tradition. So I might go European. Anyhow, we don't have time for that. There's no time to discuss what beer I'll be drinking with Harry, but we'll have a couple of beers and I'll drop some truth bombs and I'll get him out, and it will be an exit strategy from that marriage. And by the end of the evening, he'd be a free man, thanks to yours truly. So Meghan has released an ultrasound image of her unborn son, which is creepy and disgusting. It's also a medical photograph. What are you doing? Now, Liz Jones is an outstanding male journalist. She's been with the paper for years. She's a fearless journalist. We often disagree. She's also been on my old TV show. I've got great regard for her. She's a character. She's an interesting lady. She's talked about her private life, her romances, her health battles. She's a character. She's probably what you could describe as a legend of Fleet Street. Fleet Street being the original street from which British newspapers were published. So when we talk about the newspaper industry, we still call it Fleet Street. And Liz Jones, so I'm a fan of hers. I like her. And she's opened a can of worms because she is as fearless as it gets. Now, she wants to know why Meghan put a photograph of the embryo on the internet. She suggests the inclusion of the pregnancy photo was deliberate, aimed at quashing long-running rumours that Meghan was never pregnant. Those are the rumours. Now, these theories have swirled around since 2018 when Meghan first announced that she was experiencing Archie, who she probably calls A. I call him A. He's my son. The key conspiracy theories are as follows. And by the way, can we be careful with the term conspiracy theory? Because you might have noticed that from the years 2020 to 2023, there were a lot of so-called conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. That the people that were told were crazy because they said this, that, and the other about especially that global health crisis thing. People got cancelled for stating sensible facts about health and about the global health crisis, who were cancelled. Careers were ended. They were humiliated publicly. And then a few years later, the authorities were like, oh yeah, well, maybe this happened and maybe that was a mistake, and etc. So a lot of conspiracy theories, all you really need is 6 months and then they come true. So I do find that the term conspiracy theory is weaponized. But anyway, let's just say theories about Meghan's pregnancy involve the following. One is that Meghan wore a moon bump, a prosthetic belly, to fake her pregnancy. Another theory is that she used a surrogate for both Archie and Lily, and that she'd had a hysterectomy in her 20s, as confirmed by her ex-husband. We also have a theory that Meghan hired 2 babies to help her sell jam and flour sprinkles. Many have said that Meghan's baby bump was too shiny, far too tight and transparent. And some said they could see the straps of a prosthetic around her waist. Even the ultrasound was questioned. No hospital name, reference number, data or ID on the scan. Slow-mo videos allegedly showed the bump swinging unnaturally. Audio clips claim it popped as she stopped to pet a dog. The baby burst. Some question how she was able to squat with knees together whilst heavily pregnant. I was able to. Each to their own. I'm very lucky I'm bendy. I've got a dancer's physique. During the Windsor photo call post-birth, theorists accused Harry of holding a doll and moving it with his thumb. Now, Liz Jones says these theories are ludicrous and utterly baseless. Posting the picture, however, she said, the picture of the embryo, has lit the blue touch paper instead of putting out the firestorm. On these amateurish sleuths, as she calls them, snuffling for clues, analysing hair colour, skin tone, and even their hands, well, she condemns them. She says to think that Meghan and Harry have embarked on an elaborate heist is ludicrous. There's no way such a deceitful act, which ridicules our royal family, could possibly be pulled off. On the photo montage, she called it mawkish. We can agree on that. But she said only the most mean-spirited would have judged her if she had used a surrogate. If she'd had a problem with infertility, she would have put the issue front and centre. Meghan is a smart cookie. She knows what sells these days is authenticity. Wait a minute. Liz Jones. I admire Liz Jones from the Daily Mail, but Meghan Markle is as authentic as a $9 bill. She hasn't got a real bone in her body. The whole thing is fake. She's a construct. She's a hologram. She's the human manifestation of ChatGPT software gone horribly wrong. She's not authentic. Meghan knows what sells these days is authenticity. Now, lovely Liz Jones strikes a note of sympathy to Meghan. She says, I have no idea how Meghan can get out of bed given the scale of the persecution she has suffered. Persecution? I mean, what is that? Meghan married the son of the King of the United Kingdom, so therefore she signed up for fame. And she didn't, well, I mean, she already was a Z-lister in America from the TV show Suits. So she's got a public job already. So clearly she's accepted that deal. Then she marries a prince, right? You're going to be talked about. You're going to have your photograph taken. So the idea that Meghan has somehow been persecuted, she's a public figure. She'll be held to account by commentators like myself and many others, because that's our job. Is what we do is we hold powerful, rich people who are public figures to account. And that's our job, which Harry, by the way, wants to curtail us doing our job because he is suing newspapers in order to curtail press freedom because he wants to protect the elite. He wants to protect the establishment, of which he is a central plank. He's definitely a plank. So she said, I don't know how Meghan gets out of bed, given the scale of the persecution she has suffered. Well, she gets out of bed driven by an almost maniacal desire for fame and fortune, Liz. That's why she gets out of bed, because she's determined. She's ambitious. She says, these pregnancy whispers are going too far. I fear that Harry and Meghan must be compelled to release a statement. That's all it would take to put out the wild fires. So, and by the way, there are other elements to this. So the pregnancy was announced, the first pregnancy in 2018 during the Australian tour. Theories emerged that Meghan was too old to be pregnant. At the time, she was reported to be 37. Some of you have said in the comments she's way older than that. I don't know. Maybe we should do dental records. That might be the best way to age the lady. She might be from the 1950s, for all we know. There's an old teenage photo labelled pregnant by online observers. Liz Jones said that Meghan was not pregnant when she was a teenager. It was puppy fat, but there's a theory that she was pregnant when she was very young. Archie, born in 2019. Meghan left the hospital allegedly too quickly and gave birth at the Portland hospital, not St Mary's, where most of the royal babies are born. Refused to pose with the newborn on the hospital steps, which is a royal tradition. It's true. Why no baby on the steps? And also, we didn't get a picture of the baby for, I think it was months. I remember complaining at the time. It's like, this is a royal baby. Why aren't you publishing photographs of it? Was there a baby? I'm sure there was. But the issue you've got with Meghan, you see, because I'm skeptical about these theories regarding pregnancies and non. It's my best guess that they are her children and Harry's children to boot. But the issue you've got, as demonstrated with Meghan's corporate cover-up regarding As Ever, is that if somebody is a proven liar, if they've spoken ill truths in the past and exaggerated things, then they no longer have credibility. And that's why these conspiracy theories will bubble away, because no one believes Meghan anymore. So this is a rod for her own back, right? This is the cross that she's got to bear now because of her own historic dishonesty. And that's why no one believes a word she says. Hundreds of social media posts have dissected her movements and wardrobe at the time of pregnancy. Apparently, she was cradling her bump constantly in case it slipped. The bump swing footage shared widely with mums, saying, "Mine never did that." So there's footage of the little baby bump flying around. Mums have gone online saying, well, I never had a baby that flied around. Mrs. Dolan, my mother, by the way, she has complained about... No, she hasn't complained, but I was a rather large baby when I was in utero and I had a gigantic head. So it took a while to get me out, for which I apologise to my amazing mother who watches the show, so I better be careful what I say. But I still got a big head, unfortunately. It was meant to be. Ultrasound photo scrutinised again after the mood board. Appearance of Archie and Lilibet compared in detail. Skin tone, hair colour, hands examined by online investigators. Now, what Liz Jones thinks, she said that these theories may stem from fears about the line of succession. If Meghan lied, the monarchy could be undermined. Also, Meghan's decision to withhold details has certainly sparked speculation as well, not showing the children's faces, seen as suspicious. Critics frame it as she's got something to hide, she's playing the victim whilst manipulating the truth. But Liz Jones isn't having any of it. She said it's complete nonsense. They are her kids. And what she urges Harry and Meghan to do is to release a public statement to finally end the speculation. She concludes in her excellent article in the Mail Online, which I'd recommend you go and read. Just Google Mail Online Liz Jones. She concludes, snuff it out, Harry and Meghan, snuff it out now. She's talking about the story. She wants a statement from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and I agree with Liz on that. Let's have a statement. Will it come? I won't hold my breath. Before we go, Prince William has made a hilarious remark to the crowd on Thursday afternoon after a royal fan called Princess Catherine beautiful. The Prince and Princess of Wales were at the traditional naming ritual of a brand new ship, HMS Glasgow, at the BAE Systems shipyard in Scottstoun in the bank of the River Clyde. Catherine officially named HMS Glasgow by smashing a bottle of local Scottish whiskey against the hull, which the locals weren't happy about. Oh, you're wasting our whiskey. We could have drunk that, you silly old moo. You silly moo. You great numpty. But it was a wonderful thing because Prince William said something very funny. So you've got a passerby that's like referring to Catherine saying, you look so beautiful. And then the passerby said, oh, William, you're beautiful too, don't worry. And he said, that's okay. You don't have to say that. It was a beautiful moment. Let's take a look.
Hello. Hello. Nice to meet you. You're beautiful.
Just brilliant. The whole thing was a great occasion. Catherine kept her look suitably nautical for the outing. The royal princess sported a navy and white $2,000 coat dress from British brand Susanna London and a matching statement from her hat choice, Philip Treacy, the Irish milliner, probably the most famous hat maker in the world. First worn at the Trooping of the Colour in 2024 because Catherine recycles her clothes because she's a real woman and she's keeping it real. And she cares about the public purse and about the taxpayers. She knows that the British people are having a cost of living crisis and therefore she's got that modesty. Yes, $1,000, $2,000 for a dress is expensive, but she's going to wear it again and again and again, which I think makes her a great role model for the country. As the couple departed, you heard that. They just got that lovely moment where William demonstrated his humour, because he is very good humoured. He's really happy at the moment. I think that he's so happy that his wife is feeling better. He loves his kids. He loves his wife. He's enjoying being the Prince of Wales. We speculated in the previous video about what will happen when his coronation occurs and whether he uninvites Harry, which will be an act of war. But he, like the rest of us, is hopeful that that will be many, 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 many years from now. And that actually he's enjoying his apprenticeship as the Prince of Wales. And he's really happy that his dad is the sovereign and doing the heavy lifting and will do for a long, long time to come, hopefully. And he's also enjoying being a family man. And do you know what he's doing? He's doing the royal beat on his own terms. And I think that's why his ready wit is just there, because he's very relaxed. He's comfortable in his own skin, unlike his brother, the world's least happy millionaire. So, because Harry wouldn't smash a bottle of whiskey against a new ship. Harry would drink the whiskey, because this guy drinks to forget. He's not happy. He's miserable. His mental health, I'm afraid to say, and I say it with no pleasure at all, is through the floor. Is it any wonder? So Princess Catherine and the Prince of Wales, Prince William, have launched this new ship, HMS Glasgow, which is referred to as Glasgow in Scotland. And by the way, a couple of factual corrections from the previous video. One of my brilliant Scottish viewers pointed out that Edinburgh's called Old Reekie because of industrial chimneys, not the brewing. So thank you for that correction. So this is great. It's a great new ship designed to protect the UK's nuclear deterrent and aircraft carriers. The project's responsible for 4,000 jobs across Scotland and the wider UK supply chain. It's great. And this is how engaged the couple are, that they care about the economy and they care about the well-being of the British people. And that's why they're going to make an amazing head of state when they do accede to the throne. So it's a lovely thing. Catherine just chatted with people in a very comfortable way. She asked why whiskey was used rather than champagne to smash a bottle against the ship. She was told it was tradition, as Queen Elizabeth II once christened a ship with whiskey from Morrison Bowmore distillers. She showed such interest. She described the technology as very James Bond. She was good-humoured, just like her husband. She said, "I'm still learning my naval lingo. I don't fully understand. I've got a lot to learn." Well, not really. She is well on her way, and I think she could be just as fabulous as Queen Elizabeth II when the time comes. And finally, Catherine wore this amazing nautical-themed navy and white coat dress, as I've mentioned. The look included structured shoulder pads echoing her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana's 1980s power suits. This is another opportunity for Catherine to pay her respects to Diana, the late, great Diana. And she also wore the sapphire engagement ring originally belonging to Diana, of course. And she wore cabochon sapphire drop earrings, again, believed to be a wedding gift to Princess Diana. And a beautiful custom brooch, by the way, commissioned from James Porter and Son, Glasgow's historic jewellers. So you've got a nod to Scotland, a nod to Princess Diana. Pitch perfect messaging, as always, from the wonderful Princess Catherine. Folks, it's been great to chat. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification reminder bell, because then you'll be told when a new video has landed. We are building a media revolution. I couldn't do it without you. I cannot wait for the next video. Catch up soon. Stay awesome. Bye for now.